Hello everyone, my name is Mu Fan, a PhD candidate from the Department of Communication at Stanford University. Today, I'm presenting a recent study with my colleagues that examined emotional amplification during live streaming, using evidence from comments during and after news event. Collective gatherings are common social activities in human society. While we cannot engage in collective gatherings currently due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we can still experience some of them in the virtual world, such as viewing live media events. For example, when the event of a state funeral was live streamed on YouTube, people could watch the event synchronously with thousands of others and could leave comments in this live chat window. We call them live comments. After the live streaming, the same video was archived so that people can still watch it individually and post regular comments. We call these retrospective comments. Collective effervescence is a term to describe a phenomenon that collective gatherings can engender amplified emotions. Therefore, the main goal of the current research is to examine whether or not emotional amplification can also occur in virtual space. We used an observational data analysis to test this hypothesis. We identified 11 popular news channels on YouTube and crowd videos about media events that were live streamed in the past 2 years. We used an imputation-based dictionary called Evaluative Lexicon to assign a numeric emotional intensity value to each word in the comments. This brings to our first hypothesis. We predicted emotional intensity for positive and negative events retrospectively using comment type and event type. Results showed a significant main effect of comment type with greater intensity for live comments than retrospective comments. We then asked, how does the amplification occur over time? We noticed two competing theoretical perspectives. The collective emotions theory emphasizes the influence of others' emotions and predicts a continuous amplification over time. Shared attention theory, on the other hand, notes that interpersonal communication is not a necessary condition for the amplification. Therefore, it predicts that the amplification effect will occur at the beginning of live streaming. To test these competing hypotheses, we introduced a time dimension into the model, labeling each comment with a quintile rank. Results showed that live comments did not significantly become more positive or negative over time. However, the positive intensity for retrospective comments decayed over time. At time 1 specifically, when others' comments were unavailable, live chats were significantly more intense than retrospective comments, suggesting that interpersonal communication is not necessary to trigger the amplification. So the finding is generally supportive to the shared attention perspective. Our paper also includes a set of analyses to examine whether the emotional amplification would occur. Due to the time constraint, I will not expand it in this presentation. The main idea is that the level of emotionality of the comments, as well as the word frequency of cognitive versus perceptual processes, may provide some evidence to account for the amplification effect, such that people may feel more emotional and more likely to engage in perceptual rather than cognitive processes during live streaming. We encourage the audience to read our paper for more information. In sum, our study provides empirical evidence for the collective effervescence in mediated space, with some evidence for when and why it may occur. We argue that findings will have some implications for content moderations. For example, live streaming content will need heightened attention towards moderation, as it is likely to provoke intensified emotional reactions. Also, because amplification effect appears to take place immediately in live streaming, content moderators should be placed at the start of live streamed media. Thank you so much for your attention.